नमस्तुते ताप्तकांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी विषमानुं सुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद जय अद्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्तवृंद। जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद जय अद्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्तवृंद। So we are hearing and reading and experiencing Lord Chaitanya's aesthetic dancing in front of Lord Jagannath, and he is reciting so many verses. एता पड़ी पुनरापि करिला प्रणाम योड़ा हाथे भक्त गणे वंदे भगवान. Having recited all these verses from scriptures, the Lord again offered his obeisances, and all the devotees with folded hands also offered prayers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. उद्दंड नित्य प्रभु करी अहंकार चक्र भ्रमी भ्रमे याइछे अलता. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu danced, how he danced? Uddanda. He danced like a maddened man. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu danced and jumped high, roaring like thunder and moving in a circle like a wheel, he appeared like a circling firebrand. Chakra Brahmi. You have seen Chakra Brahmi? Firework Chakri? It keeps on rotating. So Mahaprabhu, he was so much in ecstasy that he was moving in this circle like a wheel, a circling firebrand. If burning cinder of a firebrand is whirlwind about very swiftly, it gives the appearance of a circle of fire. This is called Alat Akar or Alat Chakra, a firebrand circle. This whole circle is not actually made of fire, but is a single fire in motion. Similarly, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is a single personality. But when he danced and jumped high in a circle, he appeared like the Alat Chakra. Nitya Prabhura yaha pade pada tala sasagar shaila mahi kare tala mala. Very good. Wherever Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stepped while dancing, the whole earth with its hill and seas, sasagar shaila. Shaila is the hills and Sagar is the seas. The whole earth with its hill and seas appeared to tilt. Stamba Sweda Pulak Ashru Kampa Vaivaranya Nana Bhave Vishwasasta Garva Harshadanya. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu danced, he displayed various blissful transcendental changes in his body. Sometimes he appeared as though stunned, that is stamba. Sometimes the hairs of his body stood on end. Sometimes he perspired, cried, trembled, and changed color. This is also inconceivable. He changed color. From Gauranga, he became what? He became Mega Shyam. And sometimes he exhibited symptoms of helplessness, pride, exuberance, and humility. आचार खाना पड़े भूमि गदी आया सुवर्ण पर्वत याइचे भूमि ते लोटाया. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu fell down with a crash while dancing, he would roll on the ground. At such time, it appeared that a golden mountain was rolling on the ground. नित्यानंद प्रभु दुई हाथे पसारिया प्रभु रे धरिते चाहे आस पाश धना. प्रभु पाछे बुले आचार्य करिए हुंकार हरि बोलो बोले बार बार. Advaita Acharya would walk behind the Lord and loudly chant Hari Bol again and again. लोक निवारिते होइला तीन मंडल प्रथम मंडले नित्यानंद महाबल. Just to check the crowds from coming too near to the Lord, the devotees from three circles. The first circle was guided by Nityananda Prabhu, who is Balram himself, the possessor of great strength. काशीश्वर गोविंदादि यथा बकगना आता हाथी करे होइला द्वितीय आवरण. All the devotees headed by Shri Krishna and Govind linked hundreds. All the devotees headed by Kashishwar and Govinda linked hands and formed a second circle around the Lord. First is Nityananda. Second is Kashishwar and Govinda. Both of them are personal bodyguards of Lord Chaitanya. Bahire Pratap Rudra Laye Patri Gana Mandal Hona Kare Loka Nivarana. Maharaj Pratap Rudra and his personal assistant formed a third circle around the two inner circles just to check the crowds from coming too near. हरिचंदन ने रस कंदे हस्त अलम्बिया प्रभुरा नित्य देखी राजा विष्ट होइया. With his hands on his shoulders of Harichandan, King Pratap Rudra could see Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu dancing, and the king felt great ecstasy. हेना काले श्रीवास प्रेम विष्ट मना राजा रागे रही देखे प्रभु नरतना. While the king beheld the dancing, Srivas Thakur standing in front of him became ecstatic as he saw the dancing of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. राजा रे आगे हरि चंदन देखी श्री बासा हस्त तारे स्पर्शी कहे होए पाशा. Seeing Srivas Thakur standing before the king, Harichandan touched Srivas with his hand and requested him to step aside. नित्यावेश श्रीवास किछु ही न जाने बारे बारे ठेलेते हो क्रोध होइला मने. तो बार बार ठेले क्रोध होइला मने. Absorbed in watching Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu dance, Srivas Thakur could not understand why he was so being touched and pushed. After he was pushed again and again, he became angry. छापड़ मारिया तारे कैला निवारण छापड़ खाना क्रुद्ध होइला हरिचंदन. Harichandan is one of the most senior ministers of Maharaj Pratap Rudra. And just now Srivas has slapped. Srivas Thakur slapped Harichandan to stop him from pushing him. In turn, this made Harichandan very angry. क्रुद्ध होए तारे किछु चाहे बलि बारे आपनी प्रताप रुद्रा निवारी तारे. As the angered Harichandan was about to speak to Shivas Thakur, Pratap Rudra Maharaj personally stepped in, stopped him. भाग्यवान तुम्ही हा हस्त स्पर्श पाहिला आमारे भाग्य नाही तुम्ही कृतार्थ होईला. King Pratapudra said that you are very fortunate, for you have been graced by the touch of Shiva Thakur. I met, I am not so fortunate. You should feel obliged to me. This is Maharaj Prataputra's consciousness. He is telling Harichandan, you are very fortunate that you have been touched by the lotus hand of Shivas. प्रभुरा नित्य देखी लोग होइला चमत्कार अन्य आचुक जगन्नाथेरा आनंद पार. Everyone was astonished by the dancing of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And even Lord Jagannath became extremely happy to see him. रथ स्थिर कैला आगे न करेगा मन अनिमीश नेत्र करे नित्य दर्शन. The car came to the complete standstill and remained immobile while Lord Jagannath with his unblinking eyes watched the dancing of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. सुभद्रा बलरामेरा हृदय उल्लास नित्य देखी दुई जनेरा श्री मुखे ते हाथ. The goddess of fortune, Subhadra and Lord Balaram felt great happiness and ecstasy within their hearts. Indeed, they were seen smiling at the dancing. Again, the word Uddanda. Uddanda Nitya Prabhura Adbhuta Vikar Ashta Satvik Bhave Uday Hoye Samakar. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu danced and jumped high, 8 wonderful transformation indicator of divine ecstasy were seen in his body. All these symptoms were visible simultaneously. How many? 8. Mamsa Vrana Samaroma Vrinda Pulakita Simulira Vakshayena Kantaka Veshtita. His skin erupted with ghost pimples, and the hair of his body stood on end. His body resembled the stimuli. His skin erupted with ghost pimples, and the hairs of his body stood on end. His body resembled the stimuli, silk cotton tree all covered with thorns. एक एकदा तेरा कंपा देखी ते लगे भया लोक जाने दांत सभा खसिया पड़ाया. So indeed, you see how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is responding. It is his teeth. His teeth is one over the other. Indeed, the people became afraid just to see his teeth chatter. I have seen Dant Kitana, teeth chatter. And even though that his teeth would fall out, Sarvanga Pravesheda Chute Tato Raktodgama Jaya Jaya Jaga Jaya Jaga Gadagadi Mana Gadagad Vachana. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's whole body flowed with perspiration and at the same time oozed blood. Oozed blood. He made the sound Jaga, Jaja, Gaga, Jaja, Gaga in a voice choked with ecstasy. Jala yantra dhara yaiche vahe ashru jala asha pashe lokayata bhajila sakala. Tears came forcefully from the eyes of the Lord, as if from a syringe. That means it was going to such distance. And all the people surrounding him became wet. देह कांति गौरवर्णा देखिए अरुणा गौ कांति कबू कांति देखिए ना मल्लिका पुष्प समा. Everyone saw the complexion of his body change from white to pink, so that his luster resembled that of a mallika flower. कबू स्तंभ कबू प्रभु भूमि ते लौटाए शुष्क कष्ट समापद हस्त ना चलाए. Sometimes he appeared stunned and sometimes he rolled on the ground. Indeed, sometimes his leg and brand became as hard as dry wood, and he did not move. कबू भूमि पड़े कबू श्वास होए हिना यहाँ देखी भक्त गनेरा प्राण होए शिना. When the Lord fell on the ground, sometimes his breathing almost stopped. When the devotees saw this, their life also became very feeble. कबू नेत्र नश कबू नेत्र नशाए जला मुखे पड़े फेना अमृतेरा धार चंद्र बिंबे वाहे ना. Water flowed from his eyes and sometimes through his nostrils, and foam fell from his mouth. These flowing appeared to be torrents of nectar descending from the moon. यही फेन लाए शुभानंद कैला पाना कृष्ण प्रेम रसिकते हो महाभाग्यवाना. The foam that fell from the mouth of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was taken and drunk by Shubhana, very fortunate Shubhana, because he was very fortunate, wow, an expert in relishing the mellows of aesthetic love of Krishna. এই মাতা তাণ্ডব নৃত্য কৈলা কটসনা ভাব বিশেষ প্রভুরা প্রবেশিলা mana. After Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had performed his devastating dance for some time, his mind entered into a mood of aesthetic love. तांडव नृत्य छाड़ी स्वरूपेरा आज्ञा दिला हृदय जानिया स्वरूप गाइते लगिला. After abandoning the dancing, the Lord ordered Swarup Damodar to sing. Understanding in his mind, Swarup Damodar began to sing as follows. Seite prananath painu yaha lagi madana dahane churi genu. Now I have gained the Lord of my life, in the absence of whom I was being burned by Cupid and was withering away. So what is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the mood? He is exhibiting the mood of Srimati Radharani, and he is feeling intense separation. And when they are meeting in Kurukshetra, what is she saying? That now I have gained the Lord of my life, in the absence of whom I was being burned by Cupid and was withering away. This song refers to Srimati Radharani meeting with Krishna at the holy place of Kurukshetra. This is where we read this portion of Chaitanya Charitamrita in Kurukshetra, morning time. In that Gaudiya Math, that is the place of Radha Krishna Milan Stali. That is actually Radha Krishna Milan Stali, where Lord Shri Krishna and his brother and sister came to visit him when there was solar eclipse. It is a song of separation from Krishna. When Radharani met Krishna at Kurukshetra, she remembered his intimate association in Vrindavan and she thought, now I have gained the Lord of my life. In his absence, I was being burned by the arrow of Cupid, and thus I was withering away. Now I have my life again. এই ধুয়া উচ্চ স্বরে গায়ে দামোদর আনন্দ মধুর নিত্য করে না ঈশ্বর. When this refrain was loudly sung by Swarup Damodar, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu again began rhythmically dancing in transcendental bliss. धीरे धीरे जगन्नाथ करे न गमन आगे नित्य करी चले न सचिर नंदन. The car of Lord Jagannath began to move slowly, while the son of Mother Sachi went ahead and danced in front. जगन्नाथ का नृत्य दिया सबे नाचे गाए कीर्तनीय साहा प्रभु पाछे पाछे आए. While dancing and singing, all the devotees in front of Lord Jagannath kept their eyes on him. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then went at the end of the procession with the Sankirtan performers. Jagannath Magna Prabhu Nayana Hridaye Shri Haste Yuga Kare Gitera Bhinaye. His eyes and mind fully absorbed in Lord Jagannath, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu began to play the drama of the song with his two arms. गौरे यदि पाछे चले श्यामा होए स्थिरे गौरे आगे चले श्यामा चले धीरे धीरे. वेरी ब्यूटीफुल. गौर यदि पाछे चले श्यामा होए स्थिरे. गौर is who? Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was dramatically enacting the song, he would sometimes fall behind in the procession. At such times, Lord Jagannath would come to standstill. Gaur yadi pache chale, Shyama hoye sthire. And Gaur aage chale, Shyama chale dhire dhire. And when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu again went forward, Lord Jagannath's car would again slowly start. ए माता गौर श्यामे दोहों ठेला ठेली स्वार्थ श्यामेरा रखा गौर महावरी. Thus there was a sort of competition between Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Jagannath in saying who would lead. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was so strong that he made Lord Jagannath wait in his car. In his Anubhashya, Srila Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur describes the ecstasy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as follows. After giving up the companies of the gopis in Vrindavan, Sri Krishna, the son of Maharaj Nand, engaged in his pastimes at Dwarka. When Krishna went to Kurukshetra with his brother and sister and others from Dwarka, he again met the inhabitants of Vrindavan. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Radha Bhav Dhyuti Suvalita. And what else is the name given? Anyone remembers? What is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's bhava? What is his rupa? What is this roop? There are so many times we have explained. Radha Bhava Vidur Rupa. This is Radha Bhava Vidur Rupa. And what is Jagannath? Jagannath is feeling separation from Radha. Mahaprabhu is exhibiting the Rupa of Srimati Radharani, the Bhava and the Rupa of Srimati Radharani. And Jagannath is feeling separation from Srimati Radharani. Radharani feeling separation from Krishna is Lord Chaitanya. And Krishna feeling separation from Radha is Lord Jagannath. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Radha Bhav Dhyuti Suvalita. That is Krishna himself assuming the part of Srimati Radharani in order to understand Krishna. Lord Jagannath Dev is Krishna and Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Srimati Radharani. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is leading Lord Jagannath towards the Gundicha temple corresponded to Srimati Radharani leading Krishna towards Vrindavan. Sri Kshetra Jagannath Puri was taken as the kingdom of Dwarka, the place where Krishna enjoys supreme opulence. But he was being led by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Vrindavan, a simple village where all the inhabitants are filled with aesthetic love for Krishna. Sri Kshetra is a place of Aishwarya Lila, just as Vrindavan is a place of Madhurya Lila. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu following at the rear of the Ratha indicated that Lord Jagannath, Krishna was forgetting the inhabitants of Vrindavan. Although Krishna neglected the inhabitants of Vrindavan, He could not forget them. Thus, in his opulent Rath Yatra, he was returning to Vrindavan in the role of Srimati Radharani. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was examining whether the Lord still remembered the inhabitant of Vrindavan. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu fell behind the Rath car, Jagannath Dev, Krishna himself understood the mind of Srimati Radharani. Therefore, Jagannath sometimes fell behind the dancing Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to indicate to Srimati Radharani that he had not forgotten. Thus, Lord Jagannath would stop and forward march of the Ratha and wait at a standstill. In this way, Lord Jagannath agreed that without the ecstasy of Srimati Radharani, he could not feel satisfied. While Jagannath was thus while Jagannath was thus waiting, Gaur Sundar Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his ecstasy of Srimati Radharani immediately came forward to Krishna. At such times, Lord Jagannath would proceed ahead very swiftly. These competitive exchanges were all part of the loving affair between Krishna and Srimati Radharani in the competition between Lord Chaitanya's ecstasy for Jagannath and Jagannath's ecstasy for Srimati Radharani. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu emerged successful. नाचीते नाचीते प्रभु होइला भावंतर हस्ते तुली श्लोका पढ़े करे उच्च स्वर. While Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was dancing, in ecstasy changed. Raising his both arms, he began to receive he began to recite the following verse in a loud voice. What is this verse? Loud voice. Ya Kumara Hara Sa Ev Varasta Eva Chaitra Shapa Te Chonmilita Malati Swarabhaya Prado Kadamban Ila Sache Vasmi Tathapi Tatra Sutam. साचेवस्मि तथापि तत्र सुरता व्यापार लीला विधो रेवरोधसी वेतसी तरुतने चेता समुत्कंठ हते. That very personality who stole away my heart during my youth is now again my master. These are the same moonlit nights in the month of Chaitra. The same fragrance of Malti flower is there, and the same sweet breezes are blowing from the Kadamba forest. In our intimate relationship, I am also the same lover, yet still my mind is not happy here. This is the point. My mind is not happy here. I am eager to go back to that place on the bank of Reva, that is Ramna, under the Vetasi tree. That is my desire. ये श्लोका महाप्रभु पढ़े बार बार स्वरूप बिना अर्थ के हाँ ना जाने यहाँ. This verse was recited by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu again and again. But for Swarup Damodar, no one could understand its meaning. ये श्लोकार्थ पूर्वे करी याचे व्याख्यान श्लोकेरा भावार्थ करी संक्षेपाख्यान. I have already explained this verse. Now I shall simply describe it in brief. पूर्वे आयचे कुरुक्षेत्र सब गोपी गण कृष्णेरा दर्शन पाया आनंदिते मना. Formerly, all the gopis of Vrindavan were very pleased when they met with Krishna in the holy place Kurukshetra. जगन्नाथ देखी प्रभुरा से भाव उठिला से भागवत ते भाव विष्ट होया धुया गौ यैया. Similarly, after seeing Lord Jagannath, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu awoke with the ecstasy of the gopis. Being absorbed in this ecstasy, he asked Sarut Damodar to sing and he asked Sarut Damodar to sing the refrain. आवेश राधा कृष्ण करे निवेदन सेई तुमी सेई आमी सेई नव शंकर. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu spoke to Lord Jagannath, you are the same Krishna and I am the same Radharani. We are meeting again in the same way that we met in the beginning of our lives. तथापि हमार मन होए वृंदावन वृंदावन उदय कराओ अपना चरण. Although we are both the same, my mind is still attracted to Vrindavan Dham. I wish that you will please again appear with your lotus feet in Vrindavan. यहाँ लोकरण्य हाथी घोड़ा रथ ध्वनि तहाँ पुष्पारण्य भृंग पीकनादि सुनी. In Kurukshetra, there are crowds of people, elephants and horses. And also in Kurukshetra, there are crowds of people, elephant and horses, and also there is the rattling of chariots. But in Vrindavan, there are flower gardens, and the humming of the bees and chirping of the birds can be heard. Iha Raja Vesha Sange Sarve Shatri Gana Taha Gopa Vesha Sange. Here at Kurukshetra, you are just like a royal prince, accompanied by great warriors. But in Vrindavan, you appear like just an ordinary cowherd boy, accompanied only by your beautiful flute. व्रजे तुम्हार संगे यही सुख आस्वादने सेई सुख समुद्रेरा इहा नाहि एक क्षणे. Here there is not even a drop of the ocean of transcendental happiness that I enjoyed with you in Vrindavan. So Srimati Radharani is not pleased. That I do not even a drop that I used to enjoy with you in Vrindavan. Amalaye puna lila kare Vrindavane tabe amar naam vacha hoy tab. I therefore request you to come to Vrindavan. Amalaye puna lila karaha Vrindavane and enjoy pastimes with me. If you do so, my ambition will be fulfilled. मनोवांछा होय तपूर्ण. भागवते आछे ऐछे राधिका वचन पूर्वतः सूत्र मध्य करियाचे वर्णन. I have already described in brief Srimati Radharani's statement from Srimad Bhagavatam. से भाव वेशे प्रभु पढ़े और श्लोका से सब श्लोक के अर्थ नाही बुझे लोका. In that ascetic mood, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu recited many other verses, but people in general could not understand their meaning. स्वरूप गोसाई जाने ना कहे अर्थ तारा श्री रूप गोसाई करी रस अर्थ प्रचार. The meaning of these two verses was known to Swarup Damodar Goswami, but he did not reveal it. However, the meaning of these two verses were known to Swarup Damodar Goswami, but he did not reveal it. However, Sri Rup Goswami had broadcast the meaning. Swarup Sange Yararthe Kare Aswadana Nitya Madhe Sei Shloka Karena Pathana. While dancing, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu began to recite the following verse, which he tasted in the association of Swarup Damodar Goswami. Ahosyate nalinabha padarvindam योगेश्वरेर हृदय विचिन्तयान आगाध बोध संसार कूपा पतितो संसार कूपा पतिता उत्तरान अवलंबम गीहम जुष्पम अपि मन्यसे उदीयत सवनादः. The gopis spoke thus, my dear Lord, whose navel is just like the lotus flower. Namo Pankaj Abhay. Your lotus feet are the only shelter for those who have fallen into the deep well of material creation. Your feet are worshipped and meditated upon by great mystic yogis and highly learned philosophers. We wish that these feet may also be awakened within our hearts. We wish that those lotus feet may also be awakened within our hearts, although we are only ordinary persons engaged in household affairs. So this is from Srimad Bhagavatam. The gopis were never interested in Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga or Dhyana Yoga. They were simply interested in Bhakti Yoga. Unless they were forced, they never liked to meditate on the lotus feet of the Lord. Rather, they perform to take the Rather, they preferred to take the lotus feet of the Lord and place them on their breasts. Sometimes they regretted that their breasts were so hard, fearing that Krishna might not be pleased to keep his soft lotus feet there. When those lotus feet were prickled by the grains of sand in the Vrindavan pasturing grounds, the gopis were pained and began to cry. The gopis wanted to keep Krishna at home always, and in this way, their minds were absorbed in Krishna consciousness. Such pure Krishna consciousness can arise only in Vrindavan. Thus, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu began to explain his own mind, which is saturated in the ecstasy of the gopis. Very beautiful verse. Very, very beautiful verse. You should memorize this verse. Annera hridaya mana mora mana Vrindavana mane bane ke kari jani taha tomar pad dvaye karha yadi ताहा तोमार पद द्वाय कराह यदि उदय तबे तोमाय पूर्ण कृपा मानी. Speaking in the mode of Srimati Radharani, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, for most people, the mind and hearts are one. But because my mind is never separated from Vrindavan, I consider my mind and Vrindavan to be one. My mind is already Vrindavan, and since you like Vrindavan, will you please place your lotus feet there? I would deem that your full mercy. Okay, I'll read just one or two more. The mind's activities are thinking, feeling, and willing, by which the mind accepts materially favorable things and rejects the unfavorable. This is the consciousness of people in general, but when the mind does not accept and reject, but simply becomes fixed on the lotus feet of Krishna, then one minds become as good as Vrindavan. Wherever Krishna is there, there is also Srimati Radharani, the gopis, the cowherd boys, and other inhabitants of Vrindavan. Thus, as soon as one fixes Krishna in his mind, the mind becomes identical with Vrindavan. In other words, when the mind is completely free from all material desires and is engaged only in the service of Supreme Personality of Godhead, then one always lives in Vrindavan and nowhere else. प्राणनाथ सुन मोरा सत्य निवेदन व्रज আমার শোধন তাহা তোমার সঙ্গম না পাইলে না রহে জীবন. My dear Lord, kindly hear my true submission. My home is Vrindavan and I wish your association there. But if I do not get it, then it will be very difficult for me to keep my life. पूर्वे उद्धव द्वारे एबे साक्षात आमारे योग ज्ञान कहिला उपाय तुम्ही विदग्ध कृपा मोहे जाना है आमार हृदय मोरा याचे कहता ना युवाय. My dear Krishna, formerly, when you were staying in Mathura, you sent Uddhav to teach me speculative knowledge and mystic yoga. Now you yourself are speaking the same thing, but my mind doesn't accept it. There is no place in my mind for Jnana yoga or Dhyana yoga. This is who is speaking? Who is speaking this verse? Bolo?
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
No. Yet Mahaprabhu in the mood of Srimati
Hold
Radharani.
up.
This is not Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, this is Srimati Radharani. My dear Krishna, simple. Formerly you were staying in Mathura. You sent Uddhav to teach me speculative knowledge and mystic yoga. Now you yourself are speaking the same thing, but my mind doesn't accept it. There is no place in my mind for Jnana yoga or Dhyana yoga. Although you know me very well, you are still instructing me in Jnana yoga and Dhyana yoga. It is not right for you to do so. चित्त काढ़ितोमा होइते विषय चाहे लगाइते यत्न करी नारी खाड़ी बारे तारे ध्यान शिक्षा कर रहा लोक हसन मारह स्थान स्थान ना कर विचारे. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu continued, I would like to withdraw my consciousness from you and engage it in material activities, but even though I try, I cannot do. I cannot do so. I am naturally inclined to you more. Your instructions for me to meditate on you and therefore simply ludicrous. In this way, you are killing me. It is not very good for you to think of me as a candidate for your instructions. Shri Rupa Goswami says in his Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, Anyabhilashita Shunyam Jnana Karma Diyanavritam Anukulena Krishnanu Shilanam Bhaktir Uttama. For a pure devotee, there is no scope for indulgence in mystic yoga practice or the cultivation of speculative philosophy. It is indeed impossible for a pure devotee to engage his mind in such unwanted activity, even if a pure devotee wanted so. His mind would not allow him to do so. This is the characteristic of a pure devotee. He is transcendental to all futility, speculative philosophy, and mystic yoga meditation. The gopis therefore express themselves as follows. So I'll stop here. It is 140. Today we started from 80. So 60 verses. It has around 200 verses. So if we can do 260 verses tomorrow, then this chapter will be complete. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai. Shri Jagannath Yatra ki jai. Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai. Nitai Gaur Purnanandi. Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna. Anyone has anything to contribute, speak? Please share. Okay, then we will stop and possibly tomorrow we will complete this chapter. Hare Krishna.